What's up, everybody? It is me. It is Alexis Maurice and my co-host, Mr.
Real Hollywood.
And it is time for a new episode of The Wind-Up. Now, this episode, we're talking all things Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 1. And honey, let me tell you something. It went down, bitch. Okay? Nene who? Portia who?
Hold on now.
Portia who?
Hold on now.
Yeah, who? Yeah. We didn't miss any of them. So we're going to go ahead and break it down. So go ahead and pour yourself a glass of wine, put on some lipstick, pull up a chair, because we got a lot to discuss. Now, before we begin, make sure that you like this video on YouTube. Make sure that you share it with your friends and your family on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok,
Tinder, Jack.
No, we are not sharing our content on Jack. We're not.
There are a lot of great people on Jack that want to watch and get our feedback and how we feel about Real Housewives. Yes.
Listen, ain't nobody got time for no Jack. Now, before we take our first sip, we have a special guest host with us today. Now, you have seen him before. He's been to the Wind-Up before. And, you know, he likes to shake the damn table every now and then as well.
Break the table.
Mario! And the
Hey! Oh my God. You know, since the last time y'all saw me, I wasn't saved or delivered. Now I am saved, delivered, and sanctified. So, you know, y'all have to make sure y'all keep it very PG with me because
fuck that.
Because I have been
You are so inappropriate.
My bad.
But it is good to see you, friend. And you're a housewife fanatic, so that's why I'm like,
fanatic. Let me tell you, I am a fanatic, okay? I am super excited because I feel like we are in a renaissance of Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yes.
And this is their moment, so I am ready to talk about it, okay?
All right, so season 14 premiere. What did you guys think of the premiere overall? Go.
I give it 7 peaches.
Okay.
What would you give it?
I probably would give it 9 peaches. I thought this was a fantastic episode. And the reason I feel that was a fantastic episode because I like group scenes. I love the fact that these ladies are leaning into each other because last season, in a lot of people's eyes, wasn't great. But I feel now that we got some new people on. We got a lot of the OGs who have gone. We got Sheree coming back, which we'll get into. I think they're leaning into the strength of filming group scenes because we kind of don't want to see all of them individually like that. The very first scene was who? Kenya, Sheree, Marlo, and Candy. They all came to see the Queen of Atlanta, the Empress of Atlanta, or whatever, you know, do her Dancing with the Stars thing. So I give it a total of 9 peaches. It was a perfect amount of shade. We got fashions. We got everything that we needed. So 9 peaches for me. What about you, Demario?
I am going to say 10 peaches because our expectations were low. There were a lot of people that did not want to see them thrive. And when I came in, I was engaged. I never watch anything live.
Yeah.
I sat through those commercials. I laughed out loud. I kiki. I cackled. I checked Twitter. Let me tell you, there were reads. There were a little drama. It was retro because you had Sheree. It was comfortable.
Yes.
And at the end, it was an extra 15 minutes. At the end, I was like, dang, I want another episode like right now. I remember Oprah back in the day. I can't remember who she had on. I want to say it was Dr. Brene Brown. But she said, have you ever watched something and it just wasn't enough? And you go to Wikipedia, you go to Twitter, looking up more information, trying to see what else you can find on it.
Because they got any clips going around on social media.
Because it just could not fulfill you enough. This is what we have been asking for. We've been asking for better editing. The editing was shady. Yeah. It had good graphics.
Yeah.
It was everything that we needed and we wanted more. And the crazy part about it is there was no dog out fighting. It was just everything we need. And this is what we want. This is really what we want from our housewives, honestly. And this is what Potomac has given us for so many years. It has given us those aunties that have that little shade, but it's just not dog out, just like stripper, prostitute. It's not that. It's that like, oh, did you see she had on soft bottom Reeboks? Like, you know what I mean?
And
that's why it was
sweater dress that she had on at the event.
Listen, it was just everything that we needed. 10 peaches. 10s across the boards, no chops.
I can agree with your 9 and your 10. Reason being for me, I didn't have any expectations. I didn't have any kind of what I thought was going to be. Reason being is because we had a new girl. We had a veteran coming back. And
OG, Trey, get the terminology correct.
A veteran. Okay, an OG. We had an OG coming back. So for me, I really didn't have any expectations. I try not to expect because I don't want to be disappointed. But for me, when it comes to the opening scene, I felt was good. You saw the girls, they were there, they were talking. I saw Kenya in a different light that I appreciated. She was happy. It was less shade. Even throughout the whole episode, this is the first time I actually said, Kenya looked the best. Yes. At the event in that white dress. She looked better than...
That was your first time saying it?
No. I'm talking about saying good things about her because I'm not a Kenya fan. I don't like Kenya, but I gave her her flowers that episode. She looked the best. She was in a different spirit and I appreciated it. Mm-hmm. But I can't say that I can give it a 10 or 9 because, for example, Drew, her storyline seemed to start off the same as it ended. The situation with her husband. So the things for me that happened, it would seem like the same thing with Candy. It was the same. Marlo just didn't give me what I thought Marlo was going to give me. For me, the overall expectation of the show, which I said I didn't have any expectations, I just didn't get a 9 or a 10.
So let's start with Sheree. She's the OG. She's the first season OG or whatever. She the one that really got shit started back 14 years ago with leaving Nene off the guest list back on the very, very first episode. So what do you guys think about Sheree coming back for a third time?
So here is the thing. Like, I have never been a fan of Sheree. Ever. Like, she's never done it for me, which does not mean that she is not an integral part of the beginning, because if it wasn't for her not allowing Nene to come to our party, we wouldn't have that moment. We wouldn't have Who Gonna Check Me, Boo. We wouldn't have had Miss Lawrence. We wouldn't have had some of those things. However, I've never been excited about Sheree. She does not excite me. Now, does she deliver when someone does something to her? Yeah, she does. Under pressure, you're not going to... She's just not bombastic.
The idea of Sheree coming back kind of had me kind of like, I wasn't excited and I wasn't like, are we about to give a pitch back to her again?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah. And the reason why is because Sheree does a fantastic job reading in the confessionals. She does a fantastic job when they're filming. But when it comes to these reunions, she's just flat. She falls flat.
She fails the final. She fails the final.
Exactly.
She does good all year. Yeah. In the final, yeah.
But the crazy part is the final is worth most of your grade.
I don't know if her producers help, amp her up in those confessionals and they give her the reads, and she can read, don't get me wrong. Shifting wig, them little dog teeth or whatever.
She's a bone collector.
But what I will say about Sheree and why she is perfect with this particular cast is she is able to almost seem like a auntie that you haven't seen, and she has connections, and they've done a good job of like almost everybody having deference for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've always been a fan of Sheree. I felt like Sheree for me was a different dynamic when it came to Nene, Kim, and her. It was just something that she felt, to me, she was one of those girls who wanted to be what she wasn't, but she always said she was. So it reminded me a lot of these gays, you know what I'm saying?
And she always comes back to finish a storyline.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? It's always for me, I always felt like she served her purpose, and like you said, it just gets to the point where it's the reunion where she falls flat. But throughout the season, she serves her purpose.
Just like when she came back before Chateau Sheree was completed, we were all rooting for you.
If Sheree could deliver what Karen delivers at a reunion, she would have all the infinity.
She'll never leave again.
My question for y'all. So we call her the OG. Why don't we call someone like Candy an OG? Do we call Candy an OG? Because Candy's been there since season 2 all the way to 14.
I think OG is because you were a founding member. I saw a thread that said Candy is a pseudo OG or a veteran.
Yeah.
And I think she would be like the highest rank of a veteran there is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's only because she wasn't there on that first time. But I went to go see Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper, and he said every housewife franchise has a different aesthetic or storyline or theme. New Jersey is family. Atlanta is camp. You gotta have almost like some bit of notoriety to be a part of Atlanta. And I feel like Candy is the one that brought that, like, oh, from Escape, like, oh, this not like, you know what I mean? Like, I know her. Like, we didn't know Sheree. We didn't know Nene. We didn't know Kim. We didn't know any of them. But when Candy came on, she gave them that little step of like, oh, is that?
Even though she be boring and be wearing the hell out of those sweatsuits.
But see, this is my thing. I hate when y'all say that Candy's boring because for so many years, Candy Denove, it's not just you. All the girls.
You're not. She's not boring.
I'll elaborate on my statement of being boring.
She's not boring. She is the audience's point of view in the show.
She's consistent.
She gives, yeah.
And
you
what
need
I
that.
also love about Candy is Candy keeps it real. She has to me, she has kept it real all these years. Oh, she's so boring. She need to move on. She need to make room for something. Candy delivers some of the best storylines, and she's still delivering one storyline that we need for her to go ahead and just let go when it comes to this Phaedra thing and let Miss Rollins come on back to the courtyard. What I am rooting for Sheree, which is we know so far, is that her fashion show event is, I think it's going to be the finale episode of the season. Right. Just like Chateau Sheree, I'm so excited to see this finally come to fruition for her. I can't wait to see the spring summer job.
But here's the thing about Sheree. She's that person we're rooting for. We get her all the clothes, we get her all the wigs, the shoes, and everything, and she still doesn't know what to do with it. Sheree legitimately could have been as big as Bethany and as rich as Bethany. She by Sheree literally could have been as big as Skinny Girl. It just could have.
And it is my hope and prayer, DeMario.
It's not. She did not strike while the iron was literally hot.
It's still fake. It's still possible. I'm gonna tell you why it is. Because so many people are expecting it.
Off of nostalgia. We just want to see that book close. That's the only reason. Like,
and that's why
it's not sustainable.
I put my pitch out there to do like She by Sheree with the male version. I done posted my stuff, tagged her in it. She liked it. Whatever the case.
You don't have what it takes, girl. You don't have what it takes. You don't have what it takes. Since we're talking about sustaining, let's talk about Miss Marlo Hampton.
Okay, here we are.
Peach. She prayed. She stayed on the main line. She kept telling Jesus what she wanted, even though she was telling us that she didn't want a peach because she wasn't as good as other girls. But she stayed faithful, and she finally got her peach. What are your thoughts about Marlo having a peach?
Let me tell you something. If there was no Nene, there would have been a Marlo. Marlo brought fashion. She's hood. She's likable. She can read, and she brought fashion. And she looked like Naomi Campbell. Okay?
Don't let Naomi hit that.
Marlo has it. The only thing she did not have was a peach. That's the only reason that people didn't give her what, the just do that she needed. Marlo is the moment. Marlo is Real Housewives of Atlanta
I think you're going a little too far with some of this, DeMario.
I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she finally actually got this peach. However, DeMario, I think you're kind of like pushing a little bit too much. She was what you saying she is. Her having this peach would not push her. She would have already had what you're saying she would have had without the peach. She's been on the show forever.
I listened to the book, Not All Diamonds and Rose. Marlo even said herself, she felt like she was just too hood. And she didn't have the husband, and her background was a little iffy. So she didn't have that connector. It's no way that you can say if Marlo and Portia was trying out together and you would give a peach to Portia over Marlo, the only reason is because she was married. That's it. It's like kind of like that thing, like Susan Lucci kind of thing, like Susan Lucci not gonna Emmy.
Now, according to Sheree on Carlos King's podcast,
I listened to it. I listened.
Said that there were people who were advocating for Marlo to not have a peach. They did not want her to have one, and it's some people who she say is close to her.
We got to go way back. We got to go back. We got to go way back.
Take it back, bitch. Take it back.
We got to go way back. Lest we forget, they brought Marlo on to be an adversary for Nene.
Mm-hmm.
And then what they weren't realizing that Nene actually liked her. So Nene is not the one that kept her from a peach. It was Candy and it was Phaedra.
You think so? Do you think so? It was? I like that Marlo is showing her family life with those little boys that she's taking, and she's the Monty. Beautiful thing. Let's talk about the Lay archive.
Oh, listen.
Okay.
Listen.
Let's talk about
if you're going to spell it the correct way.
But this the thing, I ain't even know because, I mean, I took French, but I ain't even think about it.
Oui.
But that was such a lethal
That's the one of your man.
Oui, Trey. Oui.
It was so lethal.
That's the only French you know. Oui.
It was so lethal that she put that E in there, and them editors put up that LE and let us see it.
But they made sure we saw it.
They made sure.
That event by Marlo, to me, was a disaster. I'm just being completely honest.
Now, why do you say it was a disaster?
From the spelling being wrong to no models. If you're going to be selling those clothes, they should have been models. They shouldn't have all been on mannequins. There should have been some, at least, on models. She came in late.
To event?
To me, her attire, her attire was horrible.
But that's the thing. It's not for commoners.
That don't make any difference. She was too tall for that strawberry candy dress. Too tall for that shit.
This is Paris. This is London.
It looked like Wendy Williams.
It's runway, bitch.
Yeah. This
who is renting that shit?
Fashion. This is fashion.
I mean, it is fashionable. No, don't get me wrong. It is fashionable, but it just didn't work on her for me. The strawberry dress just didn't work on me.
The grandma strawberry dress.
She was too tall.
That's the thing.
The legs was here. The thing was here.
It's subjective.
It is.
And Marlo,
it is. And I'm not taking it from Marlo because I think Marlo is very fashionable. She is the best, has the best style. But that was enough.
But you know what? If her intentions were to rent the gowns out for them to be rented to Atlanta Elite or Hollywood, because she's going for the Hollywood styling crowd for movies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I do kind of think that them being on mannequins was appropriate.
Yeah.
Because you don't want everybody wearing that shit. Like I would like that J-Lo dress, if allegedly that was her dress, the dress that she wore to the MTVs. So I wouldn't want a whole country ass bitch wearing that damn dress if I'm going.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying she should have had people who she know, models.
No,
she say she's paid $40,000 for the event.
But when you go to these boutiques and stuff, it's
fashion houses. When you go to these fashion houses, they have things like this. And honestly, this is something new. Everybody's trying to do a fashion show. They try to have their friends model out there. This was different. It showed like art. It showed it in a different light. And I didn't mind it. I really did. It's better than having a fashion show with no fashion.
With no fashion? I was just about to say that. Now, we saw Sheree in true fashion, as Sheree does, carry the bone over to Marlo, along with the new girl, Samia, who we'll get to. You know why I like Samia? Because she wasn't afraid to get down and dirty with Sheree. Kenya did have a lot to say about Marlo's event. Do you think Kenya was being malicious? Or do you think that she brought up some real valid point?
They're still on a show. We still got to give our shade. It just is what it is. And that whole moment, even from Samuel walking over there with Sheree, that was all production to me.
What I didn't like, though, I didn't like Marlo coming over there and directing all of her energy to Kenya. Like, Kenya was not the only one who said what she said, and that's what Kenya was like, well, why are you just directing that to me? And Candy even had to step in and was like, well, hold up, bitch. Sheree, Kenya, did y'all tell her what y'all said? Because we was all over here collectively saying something.
She might have shot at Kenya, but them strays went to Drew. Them stray bullets was hitting. Them stray bullets was hitting Drew left and right.
Okay. I did feel like Marlo's feelings were hurt.
Oh yeah.
I really do feel that.
I put this entire thing together, and I think the thing about Marlo is even though she's a vet, this is new for her, her to be like in the forefront.
Right.
She's normally the person that can sit and talk, and we don't really have to go into her backstory. Right. But she's being vulnerable to bring something that she's put on, and then to have all the ladies talk about it. So I just think that was kind of her.
And she was kind of looking for that sisterhood, like, you're officially a peach holder. This is the first official.
You got to clock in. You got to clock in.
But this is how I feel too.
Marlo, you know how they do. You know, like, they come in blazing.
You know how you would do.
Right. And just like we said, I still feel this. Now that you are official peach holder, you got to put your big girl panties on, because if you're a peach holder, you got to deal with everything that comes with being an official peach holder. And that was the shade being thrown. Now let's move on to Drew. Okay. Yes. Drew Sidora and Ralph. So we're back again, marital problems with these two yet again. Okay. Ralph has this assistant that's been texting him inappropriately, even offered for a massage, to give him a massage. Things had gotten so bad off camera that Drew had packed up her and her kids and moved back to Chicago because she wasn't here for it.
In the words of Kaya, you're out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order.
In the words of you can't trust no nigga.
No.
Listen, hold on, wait. That entire plan of Drew Sidora, her husband, them. Why come every time something happens, it's off camera, off season?
Right.
Everything.
Fake manufacturing.
I just don't buy it. It. They out of order. Everything.
I guess for me, if I'm in a relationship with someone and someone is sending a text like that, it's a form of entertaining. So if you don't shut it down, you're entertaining it. So when they was in the kitchen and they were talking about the whole texting, and he was like, well, I said, blah, 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 blah. There comes a point, Drew, where enough counseling is not enough. You just gotta let it go.
It seemed to me like Melissa and Joe Gorga, Heidi and Spencer, Slade and Gretchen, willing to do whatever they have to do to stay relevant and stay on the show. Because I don't know if y'all remember, but Drew wasn't supposed to come back. But at the time, the pickings were slim to none.
And so they also thought Portia was going to be coming back too. Right. He was going to be Portia's
Right. If what they had was real genuine, I feel like they can put stuff together and be a dynamic couple.
What? About how? Doing what?
Just because they're young and cute.
The girl texting him and all of that stuff. Do you think the relationship is inappropriate? Do you think that's a form of cheating?
Absolutely. It's entertainment. It's emotional. It's emotional cheating. And when you allow somebody in that space where it's taken away from you and your partner, yes, it's a form of cheating.
And what I didn't like about it is Drew pointed it out, is that the girl made these subliminal tweets or these subliminal posts. So that means that Ralph went back, or maybe it's the assistant or whomever is going back and telling this girl things. And she's saying shit to your wife on a international platform, and you think that shit is cool? Oh, hell no. No.
Yeah, I'm going to just recuse myself from this whole situation just because I really just don't believe any of it. I really don't.
At the end of the day, in the beginning of the morning, in the middle of the afternoon, he ain't respecting you on national television, child. Even with the manufactured story. So
you look stupid, Drew. Let him go.
You look very, very stupid. And hopefully she'll get herself together and she'll move on here.
She's working on it. She's working on her body to get herself together and everything.
Ooh, now the Mario talked about
that's what she said.
The shady graphic and the shady clips, the B-roll footage, the pictures of the stuff that did not look like it lost anything.
On that, whenever you go through a transition like that, you could be lesser in pounds, but your body can seem fuller. So because it's a mass or whatever the case may be, she might actually be 25 pounds lighter, but to us it looks like she's not. Because
I'm not gonna fat shame. However, Drew, them pictures look just exactly the same. And the only reason you do a before and after is to show people there is a difference. There was no difference. And there was a different angle and a different wig.
Until my titties are gone, y'all won't see no goddamn before and after picture of me. Sanya, the new housewife. What did you guys think about her?
Let me tell you something. When I heard the news, instantly I was so happy because I watched Sanya's show on WeTV years ago. She had a reality show with her and her family, and she was based out of Houston, and she bought her sister a hair salon, and she was in on everything or whatever like that. And Sanya reminds me a lot of Monique. I'm cool until I'm not.
Potomac? Monique?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm cool and nice until I'm not.
I mean, she's Jamaican.
She was everything that you needed. Like, she wasn't timid. And the crazy part about it is, it's something about that Jamaican, and that I'm an Olympic gold medalist. Like, I'm coming in already on top. Kind of like with Kenya. When Kenya came in, she's like, I was Miss USA. I have a valid career. That, you know what I mean?
I already got my claim to fame. I don't need this little show.
Exactly. It's like, I'm not married to anybody. I'm not somebody's granddaughter. I have 4 gold medals. It's like, just like Wendy. Like,
she don't claim the bronze.
That's what I was just about to say, Demaria. They was kind of comparing her to, some of the girls are trying to read her, comparing her to Wendy. Oh, we don't want to hear about your 4 gold medals. But bitch.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I'm the fastest woman in America ever, and like, I've been to the Olympics when you can't even bust a grape in fruit pie.
You can't even win Dancing with the Stars. Like,
don't do that.
Oh, don't do that.
Don't do that. Because that was rigor mortis.
And completely unnecessary.
Oh, my bad. That was the rhyme. My bad.
What I like about the new girl Sandy is I love her family dynamic. We've never really seen a Jamaican family speaking patois. Of course, on TV.
And they was doing it fluent, like it was
right, exactly.
I was here for it.
Her mom's full. We see that cultural differences because in most international cultures, families live together. Her husband is very attractive. They've
been together for years. And the crazy thing is, she has so many dynamics to her. First of all, she's an athlete, she's an Olympian, but she's also an athlete's wife. He's not just no bench rider. He has won 2 Super Bowls.
Oh, yeah.
And she was
on their name.
And she was with him when they were in college. So when everybody was on him or whatever like that. So like, they are solid.
And there's a solid storyline there about him wanting a daughter or wanting another kid. And she's a little hesitant because, as she said, he checked out the last time we had a kid. So I don't know if I want to go through that. I'm interested to hear their perspective. And like I said, she wasn't afraid to get down and dirty a little bit with Sheree when she carried that bone back to Marlo. So I'm looking forward to.
I really enjoyed her. I think she's going to have a great season.
Yeah.
She is so far probably. I mean, I like to say I love Sheree, but I think so far, like I feel like what she's going to give us is going to be my favorite.
Right. And I can't remember the last time a new housewife was introduced on the first episode, unless they had. You're shaking the table.
That's that Sanya spirit right there, baby. That's that Sanya spirit.
But I'm loving the energy that she's bringing, and we're going to see her turn up a little bit as well too. It's one of those things, just how Portia brought on Fallon, and they really weren't friends because we already see her and Drew gonna kind of butt heads or whatever. So I think we got to repeat all over again. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode of The Wine Up. Make sure again that you like it, share it, all of that good stuff. And we will see you when we recap episode 2 of season 14 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta.